Lou, you oversee the McLaren Racing brand, a sport that has grown significantly in recent years. Talk to me a little bit about how you approach trust as a marketeer.
I think as a team, we've really embraced a very new culture, I think, in the last 18 months, a very high performance driven culture. So I think in marketing and our commercial team, we're leaning into that data insights now to make sure at the point of decision making, it's informed by this incredible data that we have all around us, whether that's coming through from our fan engagement or from metrics off track. And I think, therefore, you're making decisions in the moment, often at speed, because we have to be very agile. And actually, it's not so emotive anymore, but it's absolutely driven by data. And I think that gives you the benefit of having a very much more powerful conversation in the moment with some of those stakeholders, because you've got the data to back you up.
Zach, just building a little bit on what Lou said, talk to me a little bit about trust in a high pressure environment.
I think, we have a lot of different trust points, data points. We have a racing team of about 1,000 people, and we have literally split seconds to make decisions sometimes. So you don't have a lot of time to debate. In fact, you have no time to debate. And you have to trust you have the right process in place as to who's making the decision. Then you have to trust that person to make that decision, and you need to get behind that decision. And of course, we make mistakes. We analyze those sometimes real time to make sure we don't repeat it in the race if it could happen again, or we always do a full debrief Sunday night after the race and even back at the factory on Monday to see where we could have improved. And when you've got someone that is very good at their job, then it becomes easy to trust them. Obviously, when the trust gets dented is when you see too many mistakes happening, and then you have to address the issue.
Zach, I have to ask you, the way you talked about race day and having that kind of trust in the team and in the systems that are in place, do you ever take inspiration from that exact experience and bring it back to the wider organization?
All the time. Back when I was racing, I think there's a lot of business lessons that a racing driver, so if you think about what a racing driver needs to do, they need to know how to communicate well to their engineers so they can make the right strategic decisions, the right setup decisions. They need to know how to listen well, because then the engineers are going to give you feedback, so you need to know two-way communication. So you need to know when to lead, when to follow. Trust is critically important. As a racing driver, you're sitting in a racing car that's going 200 miles an hour, and you need to trust everybody around you, because the consequences of someone failing can be very severe. You need to know how to bring energy to the team, when to let your emotion and your passion come through. And so I think there's a lot that a racing team, I just kind of talked about a driver, but really the whole racing team has that same vibe, if you like, and responsibility. But that's the same thing that happens at the factory. If you're on the factory floor, manufacturing parts or designing the race car, those same skills are required. So I wouldn't just say the learning happens at the racetrack and is brought back to the factory. I think there's a lot we do at the factory that's brought back to the racetrack.
We do something very, it's a big part of, I think, our sort of collective discipline. And a big part of, we've talked a lot about like training these things. A big piece of training is, did we achieve the outcome we expected? And if we didn't, that's okay, but like, why not, and what are we going to do differently?
Right. Okay.